Yashaswini Daima, thank you for joining me on How I Made It. E-Times, it's a
Thank
pleasure
you.
seeing
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
heartiest congratulations to you for Delhi Crime. Did you expect
Thank you.
the
Thank
Emmy
you.
victory?
Not at all. Not at all. I was in fact talking to Shefali ma'am the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Even since the announcement happened that we were nominated, I myself was more focused on the fact that Arjun was nominated for lead actor, and I was super excited about that. And my brain, I was excited about Delhi Gram being nominated, but like everything, I was just focused on Arjun because it meant so much that he, as an actor himself, was nominated. And then when you were watching the live streaming, and then our category came out, and I suddenly felt like I've had no time to process this entire scenario. Only I don't know what's gonna happen, how it's gonna happen. And by the time I could figure out my emotions, they called out our name, and all of us started screaming at home. So it was quite a beautiful moment. Thankfully, I got it
I
on
can
camera.
imagine the excitement and the joy.
Yeah.
I read Shefali Shah saying that she would have been surprised if it hadn't got the award, if Delhi Crime hadn't won it.
I mean, dekha jaye to it's been such a revolutionary show for the country. And I mean, it's the most unfortunate thing is the content, the theme on which it is based, because it's such a mixed experience. Like, you want to be happy about the recognition, but you also want to realize and understand that it's not necessarily about it's not about a good thing. So I said that in a utopian world, this what happened in the story would have been just like really dark fiction out of somebody's mind. Like, nothing like this would exist in the real world. But the fact that it was like Richie put in so many years of research behind it. He spoke to all the cops who who gave us justice. So the I feel like all of that hard work getting recognized and getting appreciated in that sense. I would have also been surprised if we were nominated, because it felt like it was a very big part of, like, it was a very big step and very big existence for like our industry, like the kind of things that we're churning out right now. Delhi Crime is one of the most important. So yeah.
Tell me, how did this journey begin?
This journey began with my wonderful brother. So he always wanted to be an actor since growing, like since he was a kid. He was a part of this theater, this show called Mahatma vs. Gandhi, which was directed by Firoz Abbas Khan,
Hmm.
and based on which is the movie Gandhi, My Father.
Hmm.
So as a kid, he used to travel all over the world with the show. And once like he grew up, like once he was properly focusing on acting, he had to one day go for an audition. And he was in Bandra, and we stay in Kandivali, and he needed a kurta for the audition in Andheri, and I was stepping out for something else. So he said, why don't you on your way drop my kurta at the casting directors, and I'll do my thing. I said, fair enough. And I went there, and the casting director, just like out of curiosity, Tejas his name was, this is oh god, I'm forgetting, Abhimanyu's casting team. So Tejas asked me if I could act. I said not really. I'd never done drama or anything in my entire life. Like, all max theater I've done in school was being that angel or the tree in senior KG or
Hmm.
third, fourth standard. So he said, can you act? I said, no. Can you drive? I said, no. He said, do you have a passport? I said, yes, that I have. He said, come, just like try, give an audition. Like, it was a slightly, like, it was an easy day for them. It was empty. So I auditioned, and he said, you have to get excited. Your dad has got you a cast. You have to be excited and hug your mom. And I did that. As soon as he said action, I did my thing. But I बचपन में खेलने की आदत थी ना, to pretend कि हम ये करेंगे वो करेंगे, तो मेरे अंदर की वो वाली यशस्विनी जाग गई थी. And then Abhimanyu sir came out, and he saw my take, and he was like, and my brother also came. So he's like, she's actually good. And
Hmm.
that's when I realized, is this something I can do? And then I auditioned again there only, my next audition, which was the first ad I ever got. And once that ad was out, I don't know how. I mean, like a big big shout out to all the casting directors out there who just keep an eye out for fresh faces or like whoever is doing whatever. Because as soon as that ad came out, I was called to audition for Phobia and I was called to audition for Dear Zindagi. And I tested for Phobia. And my mom, on the other hand, my mom comes from a very academic family. She taught at St. Xavier's College. She was the vice principal there for 5 years. She taught there for 36 years. So my mom, like, we never spoke about me becoming an actor. So for her, it was like, "Arey, ye kya ho raha hai? Karna bhi chahiye. Picture aa rahi hai. Picture kaise karenge?" And the image of Bollywood was not necessarily safe for women, kind of an image. Like everybody just talks about uh, the not so nice of Bollywood. Like whoever's outside of the industry just always knows about the gossip and all of that. But when you're in it, you understand there is so much more than just those little things that came out. So it took a while to convince my mom also. My dad, who's also an actor, he just basically simply said that people spend years and years of hard work and just like trying to figure it out to get an opportunity to audition for something that is important. So it's the stupidest thing on the entire planet to say no. Audition karo, test, then we'll keep thinking about it. Don't say no to auditioning. And that's something that I keep in my head all throughout. Like even when I'm trying to figure out what my next move should be, like I keep going back to what my dad says, that you should at least audition. Then you think about all these other worldly things. Your kartavya is to audition. So I did that. I auditioned for Phobia. I didn't like, so they had a very hatke way of also testing. They just made me sit and talk, and the camera was on. And Pavan Kirplani, who directed the film, he really liked the fact that I was comfortable in front of the camera. So then Phobia got locked. And Dear Zindagi auditioned. I did like 3-4 rounds of testing. Then finally I tested. We had a look test also. That's when I realized that, wait, does this mean I'm doing another film? So 2015 was like a huge year like that. And then Dear Zindagi also happened. And then Pitara opened up. I mean, with that only, that itself was such a Pitara.
So how many auditions have you gone through till now?
I don't know. Quite a lot. But again, not as much as most people do when they want to be an actor. Because I don't really fall into a very wide category of like I fall into a sort of a niche where, because I don't look like a quintessential lead heroine or like somebody who's like a, I don't know. But so there's very specific, very not comfortable, but like very me kind of auditions that happen. And it's quite a lot, but it's been a little slow. But I think that's only because of the lockdown and everything else. It's picked up since then.
तो उस ऑडिशंस में जहाँ जहाँ आप सिलेक्ट नहीं हुए, did they tell you that why they are not choosing you?
Not necessarily. I don't think most people practice that habit of informing a person that they're not selected. They'll let you know if you're shortlisted. They'll let you know if you get it. But otherwise, I think you just have to. It's not a. You just have to be thick-skinned enough to अपने audition कर लिया. You've done your bit, and then you leave it. जो होगा सो होगा. So you don't have to be so dependent on what exactly happens. Like that's my practice. I try to not be attached when I'm auditioning for something.
So you're saying you need to be thick-skinned for rejections?
Yeah, little bit. It teaches you great many things, because sometimes when this happens to me a lot, like when something comes my way, I get really excited because it feels like, oh my god, I would enjoy doing this so much. But it's not in my hand because there's like 50,000 other people also auditioning for the same part. So you just have to do your best, and then whatever happens. I just imagine that I've lived that excitement in that one audition. So for me, it feels like I've at least gotten some sort of closure of experiencing whatever this character might have been or whatever the story might have brought. So then I can move on in life if it doesn't end up playing out. If it does end up playing out, then it's a great another thing, because then I can experiment more and build it up even more.
So did you take time to convince your mother? Because as you said, she was apprehensive of you doing films, getting into the glamour industry.
Not really. like once my dad said that, she immediately understood that yeah, this is like a great opportunity. It's like a huge door that has opened up, and she enjoys it thoroughly. She loves it because she's been a teacher, so like she's got all these students who like reach out to her, all these family members who like talk about it, and she feels like immense pride.
Hmm.
Like even with the Emmy win the other day, she's just like sitting in the sofa and she's like, I was thinking last night also, like I'm so proud of you for all the things that you've, like wherever life has taken you, for all the things you've achieved and how great it is.
Do you see the insider outsider phenomena when you walk into a producer's cabin, or when you walk into casting agencies? Do you see the insiders getting preferential treatment, they being chosen over the outsiders?
um I don't I don't know if I can like comment on that necessarily, because I don't think I've seen enough to know. Because like I said, I came from a very protected situation, so I've not really seen how the industry actually thrives. I've done good work, but I wouldn't say I've done a lot of work. I've still got a long way to go. So uh I don't really know if I could elaborate on that.
But you have a fantastic experience, of your father at home, Mr. Ramakant. Your
Hmm.
brother Prabhu is into ads. So, what do they tell?
um yeah, we don't necessarily talk about work like that. Like even when I began acting, my dad, he didn't like, he let me carve out my own path. He didn't necessarily try to guide me like very actively. He
Hmm.
said that I'm there if you ever need any guidance, but he never like pushed himself onto me ki now you're going to do this or you have to take care of that and this and that. He let me figure it out my own way. There is like, he obviously wants me, like in the beginning he obviously wanted to make sure that I was going to the right places. I wasn't, so there are some areas where you'd rather not step in, like physically, like some spots for auditioning where it doesn't feel like it's too safe. So he wanted, like wherever he could protect me that way, he did that. But in terms of preferential treatment, I wouldn't know. I do my thing and then I leave. I don't necessarily have like a relationship with anybody like like in terms of like producers or casting people where I would know more, or like they would tell me how it works out or anything.
Hmm.
From whatever I've experienced, that's all I know.
But with his experience, your father told you, यहाँ nahi jana hai. These casting agencies, these filmmakers, stay away from these people. That's what you're saying.
Hmm. uh, sort of like whatever. I mean, yeah, that is definitely an upper hand that I sort of had.
Yeah.
He tried to
The forbidden areas.
be like this little bit where he was like, it's fine if you don't go there. Like we're not uh we should stay where we're sort of not even comfortable, but we should stay around the areas, and then eventually once your work gets out, word will also get out, and then the right kind of people will reach out to you.
So, how are you planning your journey ahead? I mean, is it going to be web shows? Is it going to be movies? Are you also fond
One
of
thing I
music?
learned, uh I was never a big fan, because also घर पे there was not that वो atmosphere ही नहीं था. Like I said, my mom, uh, her life was Xavier's and family, so she's not a big person who used to watch TV or anything.
Mm.
Dad did TV, but otherwise my consumption itself was very Western, very towards like the Western influence, and like whatever was the digital and everything. So I never had an inclination towards television. So that was never, I never even considered it, because it didn't feel like myself. It didn't feel like something I would enjoy or would want to, like would see myself doing. But apart from that, one thing I've learned from whatever has happened so far is it's best to not have a plan, because everything has just happened in a serendipitous way where the more you try to control it, the more out of hand it gets. Like yesterday, I was watching this podcast, and they said this thing where when you start off in the beginning of your career and you do that one thing, like for me, for example, Dear Zindagi was that one thing where everything happened, like everything just fit into its place. And then after that point, the anxiety starts coming in, because then you're thinking so much about what your next move should be and what kind of an impact that's going to have on your career, and whether that's the right move or not. How much money should you be getting? Should you be associated with this kind of project or that kind of project? So all of that has like amplified even more now, because again, my second wave of work happened in 2017, when I did What Are the Odds, Made in Heaven, Delhi Crime, and Adulting back to back to back. And then again after that, like I felt myself elevated by the company that I was holding with all these projects, with having to work with Vinay sir, Shafali ma'am, Zoya Akhtar, Richie, like all these people that you've just like grown up seeing and just like imagining from a distance that acha, these people exist, and then to have them in your real life. So that entire experience then created more anxiety, because now you're like, now you can't go down from there, because then that's you uh like
Yeah.
you're letting these opportunities slip away.
Hmm.
So all of that, so the planning aspect is very wide right now. Just trying to stay zen, trying to stay sane in the lockdown. And just one thing that I always stay true to is just do whatever feels right. That doesn't mean that I won't do something that is unlike me or that's experimental, but as long as I feel like I'm kicked about this project, I'll do it.
So you're
So
saying
whether
to
it's whether it's web shows, whether it's films, whether it's YouTube, whether it's not even in this country, whether it's some indie picture somewhere, as long as it feels like that's where I'm supposed to be, I'll do it.
so you're saying too much planning leads to a lot of stress. I mean, you have to measure up to a certain standard.
Yeah. But
Okay.
it's always best to know and understand your plan. Like you should have a basic plan, like a wide skeleton, but don't get too attached to certain aspects of it, because the more you start focusing over here, you don't know what's happening over there, and you end up losing on something, or maybe you'll end up, I don't know. So it's best to keep your full thing open and
तो
just be
ऐसा कभी
self-aware.
stress हुआ and the parents had to sit you down and explain?
Yeah. Abhi, I can't remember for what it was,
Hmm.
but we had like a full as a living room mein family meeting, where I was like, I don't understand what I'm doing, and I'm supposed to make decisions and this and that. My dad always, like, he would say, listen, we're doing this because we enjoy it, because we love it, because it's something that's natural to us. The moment it starts stressing you out, it's not worth it, because you're stressing about the wrong things. It's important to keep yourself in perspective. You should understand, like, nothing is greater than your mental sanity. The moment it starts messing with your head, put it aside for some time. Do something else. Always keep yourself busy otherwise. Because dad started, like, when he started acting, he had nobody to count on. He had nobody to even, like, take that step in. Like, he's the reason why I could do it a little, like, so comfortably. So he's seen all of this anxiety at much greater levels, because he had a family to look after, and also he was taking that leap of doing what he must, like doing what his life truly wants from him. So like that kind of insight was really important for me, because I'm somebody who always stresses out for the smallest of things. So that talk was important for me.
There is always this chance when you are also stressed out and basically planning a lot and done a lot of work in quick time, that you might get carried away. Did that happen with you?
Thankfully, no, not really. I don't feel like I've made bad decisions or hurried choices. I feel like whatever I've done so far, I've been super proud of.
Hmm.
Yeah. And
Well,
whenever I do, like if I've missed out on something, I just always convince myself ki, matlab, like this was not meant to be. Something bigger, better. If not better, something equally nicer, something that meant for you will come.
so what's next?
Who
Not
knows
signed up for
right
anything which
now?
you are.
Nothing I can talk about yet.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
let's see. Yeah.
Yashaswini, thank you so much for being on How I Made It.
Thank
was
you.
lovely talking to you, and a big
Thank you
thank you
so
to you
much.
from the entire team of eTimes.